Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Devi Nashtatreshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 32, Entanglement in Fruitive Activities, text number 22 onwards. So Lord Kapil Dev is further speaking to his mother and talking about the glories of devotional service. Tasmatvam sarva bhavena bhajasva parameshtinam tadgunashraya apatya bhajaniya padambujam. My dear mother, I therefore advise that you take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for his lotus feet are worth worshipping. Accept this with all devotion and love, for thus you can be situated in transcendental devotional service. The word Parameshtinam is sometimes used in connection with Brahma. Parameshti means the Supreme Person. As Brahma is the Supreme Person within this universe, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual world. Lord Kapil Dev advises his mother that she should take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, because it is worthwhile. Taking shelter of demigods, even those in the highest positions like Brahma and Shiva, is not advised herein. One should take shelter of the Supreme Godhead. Sarva Bhavena means in all loving ecstasy. Bhava is a preliminary stage of elevation before the attainment of pure love of Godhead. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Buddha Bhav Samanvita. One who has attained the stage of Bhav can accept the lotus feet of Lord Krishna as worshipable. This is also advised here by Lord Kapila to his mother. Also significant in this verse is the phrase Tad Guna Shreya Bhaktya. This means that discharging devotional service unto Krishna is transcendental. It is not material activity. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita also. Those who engage in devotional service are accepted to be situated in the spiritual kingdom. Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. They at once become situated in the transcendental kingdom. So Lord Kapil Dev is saying first to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna and with full ecstasy, Buddha Bhava Samanvita, or here the shloka says Sarva Bhavena, in Bhav, not less than that. So basically this is a kind of hint to all of us. Yes, we are not at the level of Bhav, because according to Rupa Goswami, it goes from Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, then Nishtha, then Ruchi, then Asakti, Bhav, and then Prem. So we are hardly at the stage of even Bhajan Kriya properly. And so many anarthas are there, and association, sadhu sangha, we don't do properly. So we might not be at the stage of bhav, which comes much later after ruchi and asakti. Ruchi means a taste, and asakti means attachment to the devotion service. But at least by mercy of Krishna, we can get bhav abhas, a little glimpse of that bhav that we are. The Lord Kapil Dev is talking here, or Rupa Goswami is talking in the Nectar of Devotion. So bhav means ecstasy, with ecstasy engage. But at least the devotional service that we do, we don't have to show it off to anybody, but that bhakti that we do, like chanting or reading or any other service we do, maybe taking care of our deities, cooking for the deities, cleaning the temple, or any other service, so to speak, we can do it with love. We can do it with, with bliss. Happily we do it. When we do it, the chanting, just chanting, happily, blissfully, we are chanting. Then slowly, we will get to that position of happily chanting always. It's not a burden, it's not a punishment to us that we have to sit down and chant. Otherwise, somebody's going to beat us up. No. At least we can do it with happiness, with peacefulness, with really liking it, with every syllable of the holy name. We can chant that way. Just like cooking or cleaning, nobody's putting a gun on our head that you have to do it. But when we do it lovingly and happily, then Krishna notices that feeling with which we are doing this service. And he can give us this Buddha Bhava Samanvita. He can give us that bhava. Because devotion service has to be exercised happily. Anand Ambati Vardhana. Mahaprabhu says in Shikshashtakam, the first verse of Shikshashtakam, that Sankirtan, Param Vijayata Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. This gives a devotee Anand Ambudhi. Ambudhi means an ocean, the ocean of blissfulness. And that is always increasing. So we bring our state of mind to that level, that we happily do it. We enjoy chanting, we enjoy reading, even if we read only maybe one paragraph a day. But at least we should make a habit of reading. But even if you read one paragraph, read it very happily. That Prabhupada is speaking through these words to me. And Prabhupada said Krishna spoke these words to him. So we can read it happily, that Krishna is speaking this to me. This is for my eternal benefit, ultimate benefit. So this we are not at the stage of bhava because we still have so many anarthas in our heart. But at least we can try to taste that bhava. We can at least have a glimpse of that bhava, of that ecstasy that acharyas speak about and here Lord Kapil Dev is talking about. And then our state of mind will become like that. That we enjoy devotional service. And every devotee that we will read of, they are enjoying this state of mind, this service. Whether it is Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, or different devotees we'll read about in Bhagavatam. They're all enjoying. That is ecstasy. And that is what we should experience. Devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is the only means for attaining the highest perfection of life for the human being. This is recommended herein by Lord Kapila to his mother. Bhakti is therefore nirguna, free from all tinges of material qualities. Although the discharge of devotional service appears to be like material activities, it is never saguna or contaminated by material qualities. So bhakti is all transcendental. Deva Prabhupada said bhakti is therefore nirguna, free from all tinges of material qualities. There is no material quality in bhakti. We might have, this bhakta might have all material qualities, but bhakti doesn't. Because bhakti pleases Krishna. It gives him pleasure. And he cannot get any pleasure from material activities. Activities that are tinged to material modes. That's why Prabhupada said, although the discharge of devotional service appears to be like material activities. It is never saguna or contaminated by material qualities. Tad guna shreya means that Lord Krishna's transcendental qualities are so sublime that there is no need to divert one's attention to any other activities. His behavior with the devotees is so exalted that a devotee need not try to divert his attention to any other worship. It is said that the demoniac Putna came to kill Krishna by poisoning him. But because Krishna was pleased to suck her breast, she was given the same position as his mother. Devotees pray, therefore, that if a demon who wanted to kill Krishna gets such an exalted position, why should they go to anyone other than Krishna for their worshipful attachment? There are two kinds of religious activities, one for material advancement and the other for spiritual advancement. By taking shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna, one is endowed with both kinds of prosperity, material and spiritual. Why then should one go to any demigod? So this point we were discussing yesterday or the before. If somebody wants material prosperity, even then he should perform devotion service and take shelter of Krishna. This was Prabhupada says, by taking shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna, one is endowed with both kinds of prosperity, material and spiritual. Because this is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. That I give him whatever he has, I protect, and whatever he lacks, I provide. Yoga Kshemam Mahamyam. So what is there for a devotee to divert his attention to any other activity that Kapil Dev is speaking about, his Karma Kanda or Gyan Kanda or Yoga, Hatha Yoga? There's no need. Just perform bhakti happily, with bhav, sarva bhavena. And that is what is going to please Krishna. And that's it. That is the perfection of life. And what will happen when one performs his bhakti nicely? Vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yoga prayojita janyatyashu vairagyam jnanam yad brahma darshanam. Similar words appeared earlier also in the first canto. Engagement in Krishna consciousness and application of devotional service unto Krishna make it possible to advance in knowledge and detachment, as well as in self-realization. So knowledge, detachment, self-realization, they all follow bhakti. Gyan and viragya and vigyan, everything follows bhakti. Because bhakti is topmost and bhakti includes everything. Because by bhakti, Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, he is full of six opulences. The knowledge, renunciation, everything is in Krishna. So he can easily bestow these upon his devotees. It is said by less intelligent men that bhakti yoga or devotional service is meant for persons who are not advanced in transcendental knowledge and renunciation. But the fact is that if one engages in devotional service of the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, he does not have to attempt separately to practice detachment or to wait for an awakening of transcendental knowledge. It is said that one who engages unflinchingly in the devotional service of the Lord actually has all the good qualities of the demigods developed in him automatically. One cannot discover how such good qualities develop in the body of a devotee, but actually it happens. There is one instance where a hunter was taking pleasure in killing animals, but after becoming a devotee, he was not prepared to even kill an ant. Such is the quality of a devotee. That devotion service that the hunter of Mrigari performed by the inspiration and instructions of Narad Muni, this is what Prabhupada is talking about here. He became such a great saint that he wasn't even prepared to even kill an ant um, because that was his transformation of his heart, thanks to bhakti, thanks to the discharge of devotional service. So when somebody says devotees are only sentimental, they don't have any knowledge or renunciation, that's not correct. They have the perfect knowledge and perfect renunciation. Those who are very eager to advance in transcendental knowledge can engage themselves in pure devotional service without wasting time in mental speculation. For arriving at the positive conclusions of knowledge and the absolute truth, the word Brahma Darshanam is significant in this verse. Brahma Darshanam means to realize or to understand the transcendence. One who engages in the service of Vasudeva can actually realize what Brahman is. If Brahman is impersonal, then there is no question of darshanam, which means seeing face to face. Darshanam refers to seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Unless the seer and the seen are persons, there is no darshanam. Brahma Darshanam means that as soon as one sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can at once realize what impersonal Brahman is. Excuse me. A devotee does not need to make separate investigations to understand the nature of Brahman. Bhagavad Gita also confirms this. Brahma bhuyahe kalpate. A devotee at once becomes a self-realized soul in the absolute truth. So these are the three advantages of performing bhakti besides attaining love of God. These are the three side effects, which Jnana, Vairagya and Brahma Darshana means the self-realization, means he can see the Lord face to face by performing devotional service. No other process can bestow this kind of benediction, so this kind of advantages to devotee. And also Brahma Darshana, Prabhupada is saying that then the Brahman, this ultimate Parabrahman, has to be a person. That's how we see him, take his darshan. Otherwise, if it is just a light, how do we take darshan of the light? It's always there, but there has to be darshan of a person. So a devotee does not need to make separate investigations to understand the nature of Brahman. Means it's automatically he can realize it. He can see it automatically by the mercy of Krishna. Of course, not anything that happens in the life of a devotee is a mercy, especially when he experiences higher truths. It's all by the mercy of Krishna and depending upon the surrender of the devotee. So he gets to realize the Supreme Lord directly. The Supreme Lord reveals himself, not just himself, his rupa, his guna, his leela, everything, his associates, everything can be revealed to a devotee if the Lord is pleased by his service. That's how powerful bhakti is. And here in the shloka it says, Janyati Ashu. Ashu means very soon. It's not like it's going to take a long time. Ashu means very soon he gets knowledge, he gets renunciation, and he gets darshan of the Supreme. Brahma darshan. Yadasya chittam artheshu sameshvindriya vrittibhi na vigranati vaishamyam priyam apriyam iti uta. The exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. The significance of advancement in transcendental knowledge and detachment from material attraction is exhibited in the personality of a highly advanced devotee. For him, there is nothing agreeable or disagreeable because he does not act in any way for his personal sense gratification. Whatever he does, whatever he thinks is for the satisfaction of the personality of Godhead. Either in the material world or in the spiritual world, his equipoised mind is completely manifested. He can understand that in the material world there is nothing good. Everything is bad due to its being contaminated by material nature. The materialist's conclusions of good and bad, moral and immoral, etc., are simply mental concoction or sentiment. Actually, there is nothing good in the material world. In the spiritual field, everything is absolutely good. There is no inebriety in the spiritual varieties. Because a devotee accepts everything in spiritual vision, he is equipoised. That is a symptom of his being elevated to the transcendental position. He automatically attains detachment, vairagya, then jnana, knowledge, and then actual transcendental knowledge. The conclusion is that an advanced devotee dovetails himself in the transcendental qualities of the Lord. And in that sense, he becomes qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities. Means, and Lord Kapil Dev says, and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. Priyam, apriyam. Means in material world, like Prabhupada explains, actually everything is bad. But when everything is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, then everything becomes spiritual and everything becomes good. It's priya, not apriya. So for a devotee, everything is spiritual and everything has relationship with Krishna. And so Lord Kapil Dev says he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. Means he has attained that state of equipoise. Equipoise, he remains balanced. He's not disturbed. And he sees everything as part of Krishna, as energy of Krishna, and everything can be used in the service of Krishna. That's here it is the exalted devotee, not just any devotee. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, when he was being tortured and Hiranyakashipu had told his soldiers to go and kill him. So soldiers tried different ways. They even, well, there is one story that Hiranyakashipu told his wife, Kayadhu, herself to go and give this bowl of poison. And that poison was, which Hiranyakashipu said, okay, somehow he's not dying by the poison given by my soldiers. So he made his own soldiers to take out the poison from the serpent's teeth right in front of him. Not like go to the market and get some poison. He thought maybe that poison is mixed poison, some diluted one. So according to one story, he told his wife, of course she was the mother of Prahlad Maharaj, but because of Hiranyakashipu's order, she had to agree to it. And she gave him the poison. And Prahlad Maharaj just drank it. He said it's an offering of Krishna. It's a prasad of Krishna. And he just drank it and nothing happened. He had become transcendental to everything, agreeable, non-agreeable, good or bad, everything. Everything had become good for him. Hiranyakashipu or his soldiers ordered Prahlad Maharaj to be put in a room with poisonous, most poisonous serpents, snakes, deadly snakes. And Prahlad Maharaj was sad him. And those snakes won't even bite him, won't even come close to him. The soldiers were ordered to put Prahlad Maharaj trampled by big, gigantic elephants. And gigantic elephants came, and Prahlad Maharaj was sitting and just chanting the holy names, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And they came and they won't even step on Prahlad Maharaj. No matter how hard that Mahavat tried, they won't even step on Prahlad Maharaj. So, to a devotee of that caliber, even the Supreme Lord comes to protect him. But the devotee himself is not afraid, and he doesn't even call for the Supreme Lord to come and protect him, because he is completely transcendental. So just imagine that state where nothing bothers a devotee. Only thing he is worried about is the upliftment of the people in general, how they can be engaged in Krishna's service. And that's a level Lord Kapil Dev is talking about. Satadaivatmanatmanam nisanga samdarshanam heyo padeya rahitam arunam padamikshate. Because of his transcendental intelligence, a pure devotee is equipoised in his vision and sees himself to be uncontaminated by matter. He does not see anything as superior or inferior, and he feels himself elevated to the transcendental platform of being equal in qualities with the Supreme Person. Perception of the disagreeable arises from attachment. A devotee has no personal attachment to anything. Therefore, for him, there is no question of agreeable or disagreeable. For the service of the Lord, he can accept anything, even though it may be disagreeable to his personal interest. In fact, he is completely free from personal interest, and thus anything agreeable to the Lord is agreeable to him. For example, for Arjuna, at first fighting was not agreeable, but when he understood that the fighting was agreeable to the Lord, he accepted the fighting as agreeable. That is the position of a pure devotee. For his personal interest, there is nothing which is agreeable or disagreeable. Everything is done for the Lord, and therefore he is free from attachment and detachment. That is the transcendental stage of neutrality. A pure devotee enjoys life in the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. See, a pure devotee enjoys life in the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. For him, whatever pleases the Lord is what pleases him. Not that what pleases him must be pleasing to the Supreme Lord. In the beginning stages, this is how we work. But that's why here Prabhupada is saying a pure devotee, a pure devotee. So for him, whatever pleases Krishna, that's what pleases him. Maybe in the process, he might not like it. He might get even plenty of obstructions or impediments, but still he goes on, and that's what. And then he attains the real pleasure. For just like Prabhupada gives the example of Arjuna, he in the beginning he didn't want to fight. He said, "I don't want to fight." He didn't agree to fight. Krishna, when he convinced him, he gave him the whole knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and he asked him to fight for me. And then Arjuna understood it's Krishna, it's for Krishna's pleasure. So I will fight. I'll kill my grandfather, I'll kill my guru, I'll kill my cousins, I'll kill my nephews. I'll just kill, because this is what Krishna wants. Even Srila Prabhupada, he himself told his disciple, I think he told Bhavanand Maharaj in Mayapur, he said, I didn't want to come to the material world. Bhavanand Maharaj was like, okay, Prabhupada, he was shocked that who is Prabhupada? Prabhupada then looked up above and he said, Krishna told me to come here. And I told Krishna, no, I'm not going. Krishna said, no, you have to go. And he gave his books. And he said, you take the books and I want you to take the books to the material world, to the earth, deliver them. Because Krishna wanted him to come, Prabhupada came. Otherwise, he didn't want to come himself. In about 1972 or so, when movement was flourishing and it was growing, temples were being opened, books were being distributed, devotees were being made, and so much of work going on. And somehow Prabhupada was in LA, and Prabhupada, somehow the situation was becoming like that Prabhupada had to come to India. And Prabhupada went to Rukmini Dwarkadhish, the deities of the LA temple, and he stood in front of them and he prayed to them that everything is going great here, but I don't know why you want me to go to India. He said, I just cannot understand the purpose of me going to India. But somehow the situation, the whole thing was becoming like he had to come to India. And when he came to India, he acquired land in Bombay for Juhu Temple, then Mayapur Temple, the Vrindavan Temple, these huge temples, lands were acquired, money was collected, and the temple construction started. Deities were installed. And then Prabhupada, I think in Bombay Temple, Radharas Bihari, he went to the deities, he said, now I understand why you wanted me to come to India, to establish the movement in India before I leave my body. So if we won't understand the purpose that Krishna has in his mind, we might not agree to what Krishna wants us to do. Even Prabhupada didn't understand. But later on, when he kept on serving Krishna, he understood what Krishna actually wanted. And more advanced, more surrendered, more exalted a devotee is, more difficult service he will get. Of course, for his level, it's not difficult. From our perspective, it's like, oh gosh, it's impossible to do. But because he's so surrendered, Krishna wants to give him the credit of performing that service. Arjuna was such a surrendered soul, so dear to Krishna, that Krishna used him first to let the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to be revealed to all the humanity for all time to come. And then Krishna used him to win the war of Mahabharata and gave credit to Arjuna. Amazing achievements that Arjuna did. But before the war, and when Arjuna was shattered, completely disturbed, even he didn't understand what Krishna wants from me. And he was a personal friend of Krishna. Krishna was his charioteer. Still Arjuna didn't understand what is it that Krishna wants from me. And if you go back to the first and beginning of second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you'll see Prasanna Eva, Krishna is smiling, and when he is listening to Arjuna's arguments, that would even bewilder Arjuna more. What is this? I'm here confused. And he was crying. Prabhupada wrote in one of the Prabhupada. He was basically crying. His Gandhi slipped from his shoulder. And here, look at Krishna, he's smiling. That disturbed him more, confused him more. What is this happening? So all we have to do, we have to have perfect faith in the Lord. And when we go to the temple of the Lord and look at the beautiful deity, and now even, mercy of Krishna, we don't even have to go to the temple. Right now we can't go, but we don't have to go. Here on the phone only, through internet, we can see, we can take darshan of so many deities. You look at that beautiful smiling face of the Lord and you forget all your confusions and all our distresses. And then we basically surrender to him. Okay, you make me do whatever you want me to do. What else I can do? But the process is, like Prabhupada writes in the last line, the pure devotee enjoys life in the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. This is the best thing to do. Whether he puts us in so-called suffering, it won't be a suffering actually, it won't be a punishment, it's just some twist in the life to rectify us. So just enjoy that. Because Krishna is happy. And then when we come out of that situation, we'll really see, yes, Krishna, it was your hand all along. And this is what you wanted me to do. And then we should be ready for the next assignment. And again, he'll put us through something more. So by that time, our faith should be strongly fixed, yes. And then Krishna will definitely put us through very, very difficult assignments. But then he himself will help us get out of it also. All we have to do with faith, with the happiness, enjoy life, enjoy devotional service, enjoy whatever he is doing, just have full faith. That's all. And sometimes we can't understand what Krishna is doing. Sometimes, what I mean sometimes, all the time, or most of the times. So in those times, personal experience, have full faith in Srila Prabhupada. Where Krishna won't do anything without Prabhupada's consent, because we all come under the family of Prabhupada. So we should have full faith in Prabhupada. And Prabhupada will definitely make arrangements for the best possible solution. Text 26. Jnanamatram param brahma paramatmishvaraha puman drishyadibhi prithak bhagwan ek iyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is complete transcendental knowledge. But according to the different processes of understanding, he appears differently, either as impersonal Brahman, as Paramatma, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as the Purusha Avatar. The word Drishya Adibhi is significant. According to Jiva Goswami, Drishi means jnana, a philosophical research. But different processes of philosophical research under different concepts, such as the process of Jnana Yoga, the same Bhagwan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is understood as impersonal Brahman. Similarly, by the Eightfold Yoga system, he appears as a Paramatma. But in pure Krishna consciousness, or knowledge in purity, when one tries to understand the absolute truth, one realizes him as a Supreme Person. The transcendence is realized simply on the basis of knowledge. The words used here, Paramatmeshwara Puman are all transcendental, and they refer to Super Soul. Super Soul is described as Purusha, but the word Bhagwan directly refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of six opulences: wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, renunciation. He is the personality of Godhead in different spiritual skies. The various descriptions of Paramatma, Ishvara, and Puman indicate that the expansion of the Supreme Godhead are unlimited. So different people, according to their level of consciousness, they see him differently. He appears differently to everybody, either as impersonal Brahman, as Brahmjyoti, or Paramatma, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as a Purusha avatar. It just depends upon one's consciousness and how one sees him. Ultimately, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to accept Bhakti Yoga. By executing Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, one has to eventually approach the Bhakti Yoga platform. And then Paramatma, Ishvara, Puman, etc. are all clearly understood. It is recommended in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that whether one is a devotee or a fruitive actor or liberationist, if he is intelligent enough, he should engage himself with all seriousness in the process of devotional service. It's also explained that whatever one desires which is obtainable by fruitive activities, even if one wants to be elevated to higher planets, can be achieved simply by execution of devotional service. Since the Supreme Lord is full in six opulences, he can bestow any one of them upon the worshipper. So he can give any of the opulences or all of six opulences. He can bestow anything on his devotee. But he sees if the devotee is going to get bewildered by those opulences or not. Because if anything becomes an obstacle in his devotional service, in his progress, then Krishna will try not to give. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead reveals himself to different thinkers as a Supreme Person or impersonal Brahman or Paramatma. Impersonalists merge into the impersonal Brahman, but that is not achieved by worshipping the impersonal Brahman. If one takes to devotional service and at the same time desires to merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord, he can achieve that. If someone desires at all to merge into the existence of the Supreme, he has to execute devotional service. But that will be mixed devotional service. The devotee can see the Supreme Lord face to face, but the Jnani, the empiric philosopher or yogi cannot. They cannot be elevated to the positions of the associates of the Lord. There is no evidence in the scripture saying that by cultivating knowledge of worshipping the impersonal Brahman, one can become a personal associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nor by executing the yogic principles can one become an associate of the Supreme Godhead. Impersonal Brahman, being formless, is described as adrishya because the impersonal effulgence of Brahman Jyoti covers the face of the Supreme Lord. Some yogis see the four-handed Vishnu sitting within the heart, and therefore, in their case also the Supreme Lord is invisible. Only for the devotees the Lord is visible. Here the statement Rishi Adibi is significant. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is both invisible and visible, there are different features of the Lord. Paramatma feature and Brahman features are invisible, but the Bhagwan feature is visible. In the Vishnu Puran, this fact is very nicely explained. The universal form of the Lord and the formless Brahman effulgence of the Lord, being invisible, are inferior features. The concept of the universal form is material, and the concept of impersonal Brahman is spiritual. But the higher spiritual understanding is the personality of Godhead. So in the end, Prabhupada says, every place, every space, and everything belongs to Vishnu, but where he personally lives is Tadadham Paramam, his supreme abode. One has to make one's destination the supreme abode of the Lord. So in this connection, there's a wonderful incident in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to perform Sankirtan every night at the house of Srivas Thakur. And the condition was that when Mahaprabhu is performing Kirtan and dancing in ecstasy, only the devotees were allowed in the house at night. And the doors were completely shut. So, but in the daytime when Srivas Thakur was home, many different people would come and beg him that we want to stay and we want to see the beautiful dancing of the Supreme Lord. Please don't bereave us, make us bereft of this opportunity. And devotees are very, very soft-hearted, and Srivas Thakur was very, very soft-hearted, very compassionate. So one day a brahmachari came to him, and the brahmachari was very austere, very, very simple brahmachari, very austere. And he used to only drink milk, that's it. He won't even eat anything. Just used to live by drinking milk. And he prayed to Srivas Thakur that please let me take darshan of the dancing of the Supreme Lord. So Srivas Thakur, being so soft-hearted, he was pleased, his heart melted, and he said, okay, although it's the order of Mahaprabhu not to let anybody who's not a devotee, but you're such a pure, you're such a humble Brahman, and you don't have any fights, any arguments, or anything. So you do this, you just hide behind this place, maybe the door or the bushes. You just hide here and don't come out, you just look at the dancing of the Supreme Lord. So he said, okay, so he hid behind that place, and Mahaprabhu came in the evening and all the associates, and like before, all the doors were shut, and Kirtan started, and Mahaprabhu started to dance. After a while, Mahaprabhu said, somehow I'm not getting the same ecstatic feelings in Kirtan, in dancing. Is there somebody here who is not supposed to be here? And all the devotees were looking at each other. No, Mahaprabhu, all the devotees are here. Mahaprabhu has Srivas Thakur. Is there somebody here who is not supposed to be here? Srivas Thakur, then devotee, he just fell at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. He said, well, there's actually a Brahman, brahmachari came, and he was really requesting, pleading to see your transcendental dancing. And he's a very simple, very humble, very austere brahmachari. He only subsists, he maintains himself by drinking little milk. And he very humble, very pure. Mahaprabhu got angry. He said, bring that brahmachari out. And brahmachari, when he heard, and he was shivering with fear, and he came out, and he just folded hands, he stood there. Mahaprabhu said, get him out of here right now. Just take him out of here. You think by drinking milk you can attain me? Brahmachari was very humble. He didn't have any ill feeling towards the devotees of Mahaprabhu. He just left. Mahaprabhu then made the announcement, it's not by austerities I'm to be achieved. It's only by devotional service. So drinking milk is an austerity. We also perform austerities, but our austerities are in line with devotional service. But that brahmachari was not performing any devotional service. But since he was so humble, and he got the mercy of Srivas Thakur, then Mahaprabhu said, very soon he will become a devotee. And then he can come and enter my kirtan, or take part in my kirtan, or see my dancing. That humility pleased Mahaprabhu. But not the austerities alone. So austerities, jnana, karma, everything is good, but not enough to please Krishna. Only bhakti pleases Krishna. Bhakti means activities done to please Krishna. Accordingly, whatever is given by Prabhupada or the acharyas, Guru Acharya. So activities done to please Guru, Vaishnavas and Krishna is what bhakti is. So Arjuna was killing people, Arjuna was shooting arrows, but that was pleasing Krishna. So that was considered bhakti. If I start shooting arrows, killing people, that will not please Krishna. So I cannot imitate Arjuna. So for us, the process is given by Prabhupada. Chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles, do the service, and that's what pleases Prabhupada. That is what will please Krishna. That's all. So all these services that are given to us, we just have to do it happily. Because Krishna is enjoying it. So we should be enjoying it as well. So by mercy of Prabhupada, we are given wonderful process and very easy. It's not very difficult. You just have to do it nicely. That's all. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the lovely class.
Thank you. Thank you.
So is it 11:30 p.m.?
Yep.
So I appreciate, Prabhuji, you are always giving service during the late time and you get up always at 4 a.m., I guess.
Well, it's lockdown time, so don't worry about my rest. I take plenty of rest.
This is your regular time, I guess. Always you get up early and then you finish always by this time only. You hardly get some time to sleep, I guess.
As I said, I'm taking plenty of rest. Don't worry.
If it is possible, we
I take afternoon naps.
but you go to work also. You go to office also.
No, not these days. I'm working from.
So early class will be also, if like all Prabhujis and Matajis will be ready, we can do some early classes also according to your convenient time.
No, it's okay. I'm okay. I don't have a problem. I'm just used to it now.
So much indebted to you, Prabhuji.
No, thank you. Any other question or comments? Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.